Hi, my name's Jonny, and today I want to talk to you about this wonderful mini rig from Ashdown. Ashdown are a British amp company that are well known for bringing class and kind of like 50s car inspired designs to the bass amplification world for many years, and this is the latest thing that I've acquired from them, and I've been so excited to talk about this. The mini rig is essentially a 180 watt head going into a matching 2x10 cab to deliver kind of all-in-one rig built for playing gigs, playing in the studio, and for practicing at home as well. Now, I played the Ampeg Micro VR series, and I fell in love with the idea of having a really compact rig at home to sit in my studio room, look amazing in the background, and also function as like a little amp to practice through if I don't want to wear headphones, or to just kind of test a bass through when I first get it without having to set up all my laptop and things like that. And I liked the Ampeg one, but as an Ashdown artist, I thought, I really wish that Ashdown did something similar. Turns out my prayers were answered, because they do. And so for today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Ashdown mini rig. But before we go anywhere, I have to say that I have been gifted this rig, and I am an Ashdown artist. So there's going to be a little bit of bias in there. I love the company and most of the products that they make, but I always aim to give you the most honest review I can. They haven't paid me to say anything specific or even to make a video on this at all. I was just excited to show it off to you. And also, make sure you like this video and subscribe. It lets me know that you like what I'm doing and that you want to see more demos just like this. So running through the controls on the amp itself here, just to the right of our main input, we've got two buttons, one for shape. I always call this Ashdown's signature secret weapon because it just makes everything sound better, in my opinion. It gives you that real amp sound by giving you a bit of a mid scoop and boosting the highs and lows to give you a bit of a smiley face curve. Now, it's finally time in the video to talk about knobs. We have a pre-gain control and then a built-in gain. After this, we have a 5-band EQ, and I feel like Ashdown could have really just gotten away with doing like a 3-band on a product like this, but the fact we've got full flexibility over the front end of this amp, I think is really nice. And also what they've done is made it so the preamp in this, I just spat everywhere. Preamp! The preamp in this is exactly the same as the Rootmaster and original amp series. So you're getting that familiar sound in a little product like this, which I think is super fun. And for me as well, I use the Rootmaster 500 as my main gigging amp. And so to have that preamp built into this as well is so handy for me when I'm playing at home. Past the 5-band, we have then got a master volume, an effects loop, a line in, a DI out, and then also a headphone out, and the option for a foot switch control as well. Now, aesthetically, I think Ashdown have done an amazing job with this little rig. Personally, I would have loved to have seen the VU meter on here as well, just to add to that amazing aesthetic. But I understand maybe why they didn't do that, to maybe save some costs. And whilst we're on that topic, this whole thing costs £800. Spoilers, this thing goes really loud. Normally, I don't like gigging under like 500 watts of power, and this has surprised me how loud it actually is. Now, it must be said, I haven't tried this when playing against a drummer, and the drummers that I play with play really hard. But if you're playing in small cafes and things like that, there's no doubt that this can absolutely keep up. The cab itself is about 13 kilograms. It's not quite as light as I was expecting for something like this. And I think that comes with a bit of a trade-off, because it is more of a gigging tool than something like the Ampeg Micro VR. But now let's have a listen to what this thing can do. Now, first of all, I want to show you what this sounds like without the shape button. Now, when we engage it, It's night and day for me when you engage that. It's just so good sounding. Now I'm going to use the preamp now to get the tone that I would normally kind of go for. So if we leave the high mid and low mid where they are and just scoop the main mids a little bit, boost the highs and the lows ever so slightly. Combination of scooping the mids a little bit more and just giving it even more of a smiley face makes a solid state amp like this really shine. I think it's still getting crisp and loads of low end on tap, but you're also getting that nice kind of warm sound, which by itself sounds really nice. Now here's an interesting thing. I find with these amps, when you skip the mids a bit, but on that 5-band, boost the low and the high mid, you get a really interesting sound that sounds really true to the bass, but also pretty tubey. Leaving the mids flat, boosting the treble, and scooping the high mids ever so slightly gives you quite a nice raspy sound without being too in your face. Now I'm going to play around with the drive control, so completely clean. For me, that drive sound is pretty intense whilst not giving me the kind of like top end that I want. It almost sounds like a broken speaker more than distortion to me. And I don't know if I really like that, to be honest. And this isn't even at halfway yet. Just a demo, turning it up more towards like 2 o'clock. It's a bit too fuzzy, but takes over too much of the low mids and the bass. But maybe if we drop out the low mids, it's better, but it's still not what I look for in that kind of sound. So I would rather achieve that through pedals and then have that as a totally kind of clean sound, or have it with a tiny bit of drive. I do like this drive sound if it's very subtle. I definitely think that the same as Ampeg, if you've ever heard an SVT really driven, it's a bit rank sounding, to be honest. And so's this. And it works well often in a mix context where the bass sounds horrible, but actually with the whole band, it sounds pretty good. You have to have your ear kind of tuned in for that a little bit sometimes, but I don't know. For the purposes of this and what I'm using this for, I don't like that drive sound. I only like it when it's very, very subtle. It sounds great when it's just giving a little bit of saturation around the sound, a little bit more fullness without blowing it up. Before I move on to another bass, I do just want to hear what this sounds like with another preamp in front of it, like, let's say, a Sans amp. I could play with that sound all day. I absolutely love a Sans amp running into something like this. I think it just sounds so nice. This sounds great by itself, but that combination, sounds really, really full and really, really nice. But let's have a listen to what all of this sounds like on a bass with flats. This is my Squier Fender Frankenstein bass. It's a Squier Classic Vibe body with a Fender Player 2 neck to give that classic Antigua look. It is strung with labella flats. Let's see how it sounds. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts about this amp in the comment section down below. Personally, with rounds on like a P bass, it sounds so good. It takes pedals really, really well, and I just love it overall. Like it's so nice. Now, of course, if you were stacking this up against the Ampeg version, it is not quite so small. It's actually surprisingly big, but it's kind of going for something a little bit different. Make sure you click the link in the description to go and check out the full specs on Ashdown's website, where you can see all the weights and all the dimensions to see if it'll fit in your little space at home. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.